Alright, hi and welcome to my review of Gears of War 3. Now, you may think my voice is kind of strange and weird, but if you're watching this, you might want to deal with it, or you might want to just click otherwhere and find a better review. Because this is basically me just going off on a groove and saying, alright, I'm going to say all the best things off the top of my head about this game, and I'm going to go in any in particular order, and don't expect anything from me. Don't expect a quality review, don't expect, well, you should really expect a shitty review, but that's besides the point. So anyway, Gears of War 3 came out, and it's Epic's masterpiece, the stunning conclusion to the trilogy of the game. That's unarguable. People will compare this to Gears of War 2 more than they will to 1, for the one reason that Gears of War 2 was a shit stain on the series, despite it being quite what Epic wanted it to be, an experiment. Now, it's going to sound like I'm sucking Epic's dick here. Gears of War 2 was a terrible game. Yes, it was a terrible game. But we can all admit that the changes that they did to Gears 2 all added on to make Gears 3 the better game than it would have been had it been released April 2011 instead of September 2011. So anyway, we're going to start off by reviewing the campaign. As you can see, I've got gameplay footage. This is personal gameplay footage, so you might see some things and you're probably going to comment on the video saying lol at a certain time, but that's completely irrelevant. And yes, I do have my Xbox on. The campaign is simply brilliant. That's the best way to put it in a short sentence. Simply brilliant. First Gears of War, it was hardly Marcus' story arc. It was more or less the story arc of how Sierra came to be with the Locust. I'm just kidding. There wasn't really a story in number 1. But it carries on from the story of number 2, 18 months after Jacinto had been sunk by the cog and they flushed out the Locust from the hollow. Doing so set off the Lambent. No wait, what am I doing? This isn't part of the review. Alright. So the campaign gameplay is great. It's simply polished beyond well belief, and there's nothing bad to say about the gameplay of the campaign. I enjoyed every single minute of it, and I can't really say there was a painful bit. Oh wait, yeah, there was. Act 3. The campaign story is emotionally gripping, and it will get players at the time. This is not the story isn't directly made for everyone. As you can see, I got a collectible. The story is not for everyone, that's for sure. The story was more or less tailored to a certain demographic of people. Now there's the people who think, this tries to be deep, tries to be emotional. Well, Gears of War has always been deep. It's always been emotional, and the campaign was great. I know it's a pretty bad way to review something by just constantly calling it great, but there's really no flaws, apart from maybe some of the writing, but it's funny. The lines are there. It's 18 years. They're starting to lose hope, and then now Marcus Phoenix's dad, Adam Phoenix, has come along and said, hey, Marcus, I need you to come find me. It's urgent. So anyway, I'm not going to spoil too much of the campaign apart from this part here. That's it. That's all you're going to get spoiled for you. But the campaign is incredibly enjoyable with the addition of 4-player co-op and the ability to swap weapons for when you get to those tight spots, and making it more difficult. Going on to the other aspects of the game, most notably multiplayer, that's where the real money is. The multiplayer has been significantly improved with the beta that came out last May. As we all know, that there was a few things. They fixed all the glitches. I'm not too sure about balancing. They never said they addressed certain things in balancing. Regardless, that's completely irrelevant. But multiplayer is actually fun now. Probably because they decreased the difficulty curve for newer players to the game, making it easier for everyone to get and have an enjoyable experience with Gears. Most notably, the addition would be the sawed-off shotgun. That is probably, and most notably, the thing making more enjoyable for players online. Now, I'm not going to go and put my opinion saying that the sawed-off is breaking online, which it is. I hate anyone who uses it. Go die in a fire. so you can tell I'm a National Pro. Just look at me. But yeah, the online is incredibly polished. It's significantly improved. There's lots to do. There's 6 game modes. They've removed Annex and Guardian, and they've combined Annex and King of the Hill into one major King of the Hill game mode with similarities between the two, and Guardian into Capture the Leader, much like Meat Flag from Gears 2. And then we have the revamped Horde system, Horde 2.0, which is much like Call of Duty World at War or Call of Duty Black Ops Zombie system, where you can use money to buy more things and make the gameplay, well, the challenge, far easier and less strenuous. Now, it's not to say it's not challenging. It's quite challenging indeed. We were doing it on casual, wave 40. You get a Lambent Zerker is enough to make you want to rage quit in vain, because I have a few witnesses message them, but you know, that's irrelevant. The difficulty is definitely there. The fun is definitely there. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you not playing Horde mode without friends, because it's quite boring, linear, and dull without friends. You have these moments, much like a Battlefield moment, as you will, that you can carry on. And for the final part, there was Beast Mode, which allowed players to play as the opposite end and deliver on the COG ownage, basically destroying COG players as the Locust, with 4 tiers of different types of characters you can choose from going from Ticker all the way up to Berserker. It's a surprisingly fun game type, but the only problem with it is that it's relatively short, with only 12 waves as opposed to Horde's 50, but then again, there isn't much human variety considering there's only Stranded and COG. To say, overall, Gears would get a 9.7 for me, because I am a fanboy, and yes, I will say that, but if I weren't a fanboy, it'd get 9.2, just because of the cheesy and predictable writing, but that's really not enough to say it's a horrible, broken game. It's actually quite brilliant, well done. It's the huzzah to the series, it's the kingpin, and the only con, not enough Carmine. That's it. No, not enough Carmine and bad writing. I hope you enjoyed this review. Even though it was kind of crappy, enjoy. Bye.